It's League of Legends time here on State Champs Esports, so stick around because the action starts right now. Welcome to the show. I'm Candace and thank you for joining me. Before we get into our second spring tournament highlights, let's take a moment to recognize Lawrence Tech and Hungry Howie's Pizza for helping us bring our tournaments, podcast, and the State Champs Esports show to you.
We're checking out some highlights from the quarterfinals match between Chome and Northville High School JV team. Here in Game 1, we start out with some minor skirmishes. Chome is really wasting no time. Sion stuns Northville's Garen, and Chome's Olaf cleans up the kill. Chome once again showing the ferocity when it comes to top lane, killing Garen again and already going at the turret plating. Northville gets the first dragon here. Northville, realizing top lane is going down, is prioritizing bot lane. They put some pressure on here. Olaf pushes back, takes Northville's Samira, but not before Northville's Nuna comes in and shuts down Olaf, resulting in quite a trade. Chome, not having any of it, pushes hard on bot lane, taking out Samira, Alistair, and doing some heavy damage on the turret.
There's that ultimate coming through. There's a Sion TP, 3-man knockup, followed by another knockup, ton of CC coming down from the Sion.
Northville gets cornered here. Chome stunning with Sion, knocking down 3 people, while Seraphine and the rest of the team clean up Northville at the choke point, resulting in an ace for Chome. Not even a competition here, as Chome gets the Nexus with ease and takes Game 1. In Game 2, we have some general pressure in the beginning, but nothing too crazy quite yet. Northville is playing pretty defensively. Sion diving for the kill on Mordekaiser, but a moment of hesitation and he's taken out the assistance from Fiddlesticks. Chome's Gragas holding onto the top lane, ults to heal, gets the Rift Herald out, and along with Sion dishing out massive damage in the top tower and taking out Northville's Mordekaiser. Chome's Gragas gets into a 2v1, but comes out on top with a double kill, taking out Mordecai and chasing down Northville's Fiddlesticks with a stun and an auto attack.
Into his team, look like they're going to be diving in, trying to pick up the kill. A lot of damage coming down. There's giving the Kiana ult into the tower there. Mordekaiser ulted the, I believe.
Despite Chome's momentum, Northville gets a bit back in this huge trade-off between the two in mid lane, but did lose a tower in the process. Finally, Chome finishes up with their overpowered and itemized Gragas, taking the win and moving on to the semifinals.
In the semifinals, Chome faced Detroit Catholic Central. After trading wins, Chome unfortunately had to forfeit the match due to player scheduling conflicts. Who would Catholic Central play in the finals? Let's go to the other semifinal match to find out.
For our semifinals, we have Troy versus Northville Varsity. We see some pretty aggressive plays right off the bat. Troy being known for their aggressive playstyle, we see Tom Kench get Volbear pretty low, about to chase him down, but backs off due to low health and the turret. Troy already a few kills on the board, but not enough for them as their Tristana gets a double kill here. Already 4 kills now at just about 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a dead. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Troy making this game look completely one-sided, getting kills in every lane across the board with incredible frequency.
Oh man.
Seraphine really needs ulti.
Oh my god.
Wow. Well played by the Leeson.
Troy absolutely snowballed Northville with a huge 38-7 kill count. They took the momentum from the very beginning to the very end, winning the first game. Troy, right from the start in Game 2, poking from the jungle to mid, put pressure on right off the bat. Troy's Ivern looks like they're going to get killed in this 2v1, but baits them up, only to get 2 Northville players ganked by the rest of his team.
That was a beautiful bait by the Ivern.
An absolute bloodbath between the 2 teams in mid lane here. Galio, Aphelios, and Nocturne ganking on Troy, but Recton gives them enough room to get Silas out. Recton gets 2 kills before they die, and the rest of the team comes into pushback.
Flash in from Thresh. That's going to be a kill over to the Thresh. Renekton still fighting off, big healing. I think this is going to be a dead matter, but here comes Troy from the backside.
Okay.
Northville able to push back a bit, chases down Silas, who baits them. And Northville gets ganked by the whole team on all sides. Ults everywhere, no escape for Northville as they get team wipe.
The Silas is just life stealing up so much, and that is going to be game
Troy once again showing their aggressive playstyle, prowess, and strategy, winning the semifinals by quite the margin.
Hey guys, this week we're checking out Pokemon's new reboot, New Pokemon Snap.
New Pokemon Snap came out on April 30th, and I know I wasn't the only one excited for it. Let's take a look at what new additions the new Snap game brings to the old one. Not too much of a story here. You choose a character model, learn you're helping out a professor named Mirror. He's been researching Pokemon in the islands of the Lental region. There's some exposition about glowing oddities and the Lumina Pokemon, referring to giant glowing creatures. The story is really just a means to an end, nothing super interesting, but enough to drive you to explore the areas in the game, much like the original. The graphics are pretty great. They seem to be based off of Pokemon Sword and Shield's character models, but more detailed. And with the focus on it being a photography game, they really push the character models. The environments are what really took the cake for me. Each map has beautiful situational elements. Sandy desert ruins, a mysterious forest, a shining ocean, and even lava and obsidian in a volcano. The environments are breathtaking to go through. The gameplay revolves around you going on a course through different environments and taking pictures of Pokemon. Depending on the placement, the size of the Pokemon, and what they're doing, the quality of the photo either goes up or down. This is judged by Professor Mirror, and he'll give you 1 to 4 stars depending on how rare the behavior of the Pokemon is, and based off the scoring, you'll either get copper, silver, gold, or diamond. This feedback loop pushes you to get better photos, especially with the new tools they give you. An apple-like fruit called Fluff Fruit, to get pictures of them eating, bonk them, or lead them to other Pokemon or interactable things. For example, I lured this Pikachu over to the shovel to see if I could get a photo of it playing with it. As you play and get more photos, the professor will give you new items to interact with and get even better photos. This is further reinforced with each map having a level of 1 to 4. Getting good photos will give you research points, and that levels up the area in which the Pokemon either become more friendly with each level, and the maps and Pokemon behaviors will change. Some maps will have 2 routes, some might be blocked off or changed, some Pokemon that were shy or didn't even appear before might appear now. Some maps will even have puzzles built in to get into secret areas. This gives you more drive to not just take photos but really explore these maps. New Snap also added night versions of the map. We get to see a whole new side of Pokemon. This is also when you encounter glowing Illumina flowers, and with enough research unlock Illumina maps where you see these humongous glowing Illumina Pokemon. There's some very fun and very pretty maps. The only thing that I found kind of annoying was the tutorials. When the game wants you to try something that doesn't need to be done right away, it's pretty ham-fisted about it. The tutorial is also drawn out when it really only needs to be 1 or 2 interactions. Finally, my friends and I were all kind of hoping that this game would be a bit more open world, or at least have a large explorable area, kind of like the wild zones in Sword and Shield. Instead, being a linear and interactable path like the original one. Possibly with the new engine being designed for the next Pokemon game, we'll get to see that in a future Pokemon Snap. New Pokemon Snap is a relaxing, joy-filled look into the world of Pokemon. It takes a lot of strengths of the original Snap and enhances upon them. While a bit linear, old fans will reminisce, new players will find a new relaxing game to play. This game is definitely worth a buy, especially if you need a nice, relaxing game to enjoy during these times.
Hi, I'm Ethan Avery, and let's take a look at some League of Legends action from our state champs tournament between Troy and Detroit Catholic Central. DCC up here early when a skirmish would break out in the river.
This is going to be really scary. That's going to be the ultimate from the Garen securing the kill. Looks like there's going to be a Roma from the Veigar. That's going to be a dead Garen.
Then Troy would look to change things on this spicy 2v2 mid.
Veigar, he's going to live with 1 HP. Very unlucky. Looks like Morgana's going in. Ivern going in for the Smite secure. Might walk it out.
And Troy would take game 1.
Going to be a dead Morgana. Sivir trying to do some work. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Now, game 2, and it got started early top lane.
The Skull Breaker is not going to land. She's going to run out. That's going to be another kill for Troy. Looks like this is going to be 3 kills for Troy in this early game.
And things broke out big time mid.
Silas is just going to flash in here. Has the Alistar ult. It's going to take almost no damage. Beautiful 4-man ultimate there from the Lee Sin, and they're just completely diving. Immediate interrupt of the Samira ult. Here comes the ult the ult from Diana. It's not going to do that much damage, and Troy is completely winning this fight. 4 members down to Troy's 0.
And after a well-fought series from both teams, Troy would come away victorious.
So winning the ult from Diana, Alistar going in, big flash in from the Silas is going to land a 3-man Diana ultimate, and that's going to be a triple kill for the Xayah. Oh my god.
Thank you, Ethan, and great job casting of the match as well. We took a break this week to gear up for our 3rd and final spring tournament. Of course, we'll have match results and highlights for you. Make sure to follow us on Twitch at State Champs Esports so you can watch all of our live streams. For our final segment, we've got part 2 of an esports panel from LTUX. If you'd like to hear the entire unedited discussion, make sure to check out the most recent episode of our podcast, Gamers Unlimited.
What do you see for the future of esports, as a whole within, the community of Michigan, moving forward once we get back to a little bit of a normalcy that we saw early spring last year?
I would say for Michigan in particular, it's super optimistic. I would say in the past 8 months, I haven't received as many messages over LinkedIn or email or phone than I did before. A whole lot of organizations that are trying to kind of make esports larger in Michigan. And I would say I know a lot of times when people think of esports, they think of New York, they think of California, but for 6 months or for 5 months, it's maybe 4 months, it's really cold, and there's not a lot to do in Michigan. So I know that we've definitely have the player base in Michigan. That's one thing that's super important, is if you've got the fans, then you can kind of create these events, and then people will show up. I went out to New Jersey to watch the World Championships for Rocket League, and I never thought I'd see 30,000 people in the Prudential Center watching Rocket League, but then again, it happened. So I think if events like that could happen in Michigan, people would definitely come.
Esports in general is going to come back stronger than ever, right? And it goes back to what I was talking about, where this has really sped up a lot of universities and cities in getting involved with esports, right? And Stephen and Dylan both mentioned that as well, where you're starting to see more of that recreational side pick up for esports, getting that, we'll call it more casual community involved in these kinds of activities, right? And so I think as, things get back to normal, that's where we're going to see a lot of growth in the esports industry. We're excited to see the schools that are now going to be getting back into esports full swing and seeing all the growth in the number of schools that now have esports programs or esports clubs that their schools now support rather than actively fight against. And now, the rest of the more recreational gamers, younger gamers, are going to be following in their footsteps and starting to build out that pathway, so that you have the full infrastructure from, when you're a youth esports player all the way through, whatever level you want to eventually play at.
We're looking to kind of get our member schools to pioneer the Michigan Middle School Esports Federation. If somebody wants to take on that task and carry that torch, God bless your soul. But our member schools, like some of them, they have middle school programs, which are feeder programs into their high school programs. So it's self-serving, and also it helps the teams to become better team players, and they learn those traditional sports lessons that they're going to carry over into high school. So that's one way we'd like to expand. We'd like to continue to develop our interstate play as far as having our champs play other state champs. We want to work with other groups to develop summer camps and training sessions, like colleges, to be able to host player deck development, like their player profiles and stuff like that, or if it's actual game tutorial and strategy stuff, or a day in the life of what it's like to be a collegiate player. That's another just good one day camp kind of thing. Develop college recruitment in a sort of more organized way. So right now it's kind of, I don't want to say it's a wild west or anything like that, but there's really no model when it comes to college recruitment. And if we could get more clear avenues for that kind of thing, I'd like to work on that this year.
You just can't come pick a college based on skill right now. I understand you really want to play esports, but you still have to keep in mind kind of like Dylan said, the odds of you going pro are pretty slim. You have to think of it your long game. What career are you going to choose? So if you fit with LTU and their curriculum, that's what I want. I want you to be here because you want to be here. And we're also trying to make our presence in general with esports and competitions with student life, because engaging all of the student body and not just, hey, you are on the esports team, it seems to be fun. Right now we have a Greek life tournament going on, and potentially could do Mario Kart with beer goggles on to teach people why you don't drink and drive. It might be a silly approach, but it might stick. You never know. Hopefully, as we grow too, then we can move towards building an arena and bringing in students, high school students, to have different camps. And ideally, it would be a lot of high schoolers and things like that. But with COVID, it's just not going to happen this year.
That's it for the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, we thank Hungry Howie's Pizza and Lawrence Tech, who is currently recruiting student athletes for their esports team. Get more info at LTUathletics.com. Make sure to join us again next week for another episode of the State Champs Esports Show. Goodbye for now.